When we speak about the greatest of all time, the conversation usually comes down to Team LH and Supermax fans tearing each other a new one on social media. All the while, the meme lords chant Latifi's name in the distance. However, one name that arguably deserves to be brought up a lot more is Fangio. Juan Manuel Fangio. 24 race wins, 35 podiums, 5 Drivers' World Championships, all during an era where the threat of death lurked around every corner. Fangio truly was one of the greatest racing drivers who's ever lived. But we don't care about him today. No, today we're going to cover the life and career of Juan Manuel Fangio II. So off the bat, let's make something absolutely clear. We're not talking about Fangio's son, though the two were related. Fangio II was born on September 19th, 1956, and in fact was the nephew of the racing legend. Though baby Fangio was a mere 2 years old when his uncle retired from racing, it clearly ran in the family. The Argentinian's professional debut came in the 1984 Miami round of the IMSA World Championship. I would tell you how he got on here, but I haven't got a clue. Just know he's in this gaggle of cars somewhere. What I can tell you is how he got on a year later in Formula 3000, the Argentinian competing in 7 of the 12 rounds and not doing particularly well. Fangio retired from 4 of his 7 races, though did pick up a solitary point at Spa, soon after choosing to leave the European scene and head back to the States. He'd end up landing in Indy Lights for the 1986 season, and though it didn't start particularly well, a switch to the promotion team mid-season yielded 3 podiums and P5 in the final standings. That first win was still elusive, but it would come the following year, Fangio taking the top spot at the closing round in Miami, though in what was a disrupted season once again. And that was set to continue in 1988, Fangio once again switching teams mid-season and missing a third of 12 rounds, ultimately ending any sort of a title bid. The Argentinian was still impressive, however, adding 2 more wins to his tally before deciding it was time to leave Indy Lights in the dust and have another crack at IMSA. Competing with all American racers, Fangio would, and no bonus points for guessing this, only complete part of the season, though the promise was there, with 5 top 5 finishes and 2 podiums to boot. A far more consistent second season in the series saw much better results, 4 wins and 4th in the final standings, and Fangio was just getting started. By 1992, Juan Manuel was dominating the IMSA category, winning 7 of the 13 races that year and another 7 in 1993, making him a back-to-back champion in the process. Amazing what happens when you actually compete in every race, isn't it? Having now also won the 12 Hours of Sebring twice, and in doing so matched one of his uncle's feats, Fangio decided he'd had enough of sports cars and it was time to head back to open wheel racing, joining the kart series in 1995. This, however, is where things began to go wrong. Fangio never quite got the results in the series he maybe predicted. A P7 on debut at the Mid-Ohio round looked promising, though in 3 seasons it would be a result the Argentinian never managed to beat. By the end of 1997, Fangio concluded that he wasn't able to give 100% to racing anymore, and thus left the kart series for good. He thus spent the twilight years of his career racing in the South American Touring Car Championship, and don't worry if you haven't heard of that, because neither have I. According to Wikipedia at least, he still took 1 win in that series, with the Argentinian returning to Sebring one final time for his last race in 1999. Driving a Ferrari F310E, Fangio came across the line 6th, before hanging his helmet up for good. So while Fangio II's career wasn't quite as prestigious as that of his uncle, it is one that has been lost to history a little. He may not have won 5 world titles or even made it to Formula 1 to begin with, but on his day he proved to be utterly dominant. I mean, just look at his IMSA stats, for example. And props also to me. I've just made a video about an Argentinian without bringing up the Falklands whatsoever. Ah, shit. But I hope you enjoyed this, albeit slightly different video today. If you did, drop it a like, leave literally anything you want in the comments to please the algorithm, and consider subscribing for more videos every Sunday. A final thank you goes out to my patrons, and if you want to get involved in that, or just check out any of my other social media, then you can do so by clicking on the links in the description below. But for now, that's all from me. So I'll see you soon with another video, but until then, have a good one.